Hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice video by IELTS Johnny. So today, a student, Miss Anh Thư, is going to do her speaking practice. Right. So Miss Thư, let's start with something. Let's start with something pop fun, shall we? Okay. So let's talk about music then. So, what music do you like?
Well, it's hard to say what kind of music do I like. I think I like all kinds of music. It all gives me some kind of vibe
All kind
that
of music, right?
yeah, yeah, all kinds. Can't decide.
Okay. And so, what music do you dislike then?
As I said before, as I like every kind of music. So there's uh, I don't dislike any music.
Hmm, that's actually a good answer. Do you often listen to, okay, so I cannot ask this question because you said you like all kind of music. Okay, so what music do your friends like? And do you enjoy the same type of music as your friends?
Well, the type of music that my friends like, divides it it can be divided in many kinds. Some like K-pop or just pop or US UK music, and of course I like all kind of music. So whatever they listen to, whatever they like, I have the same type.
I see. So you listen to music just because to fit in with the crowd, right? To fit in with your friends, right?
Well, maybe sometimes it's true, but sometimes I just like it. So yeah.
I see. All right. So what's the most popular type of music where you live, you know?
Well, I think it's probably pop. Some music songs with soft vibe or about um,
So vibe,
something
like
people can,
we have a new term called lo-fi, I think.
yeah, something people can vibe with, they can relate to. That's what's the kind of music they
I
like.
think it's called easy listening as well. Easy listening. It's like the type of music that is so easy to listen to at any time of the day, and then you don't have to think too much. It's called easy listening, I think. I see. So, but in Vietnam, actually, rap and rock is actually quite popular, yeah, like Vietnamese rock music and rap music as you know.
Yeah,
And of course, we have V-pop.
of course.
I say, right. So which singer or musician? This one is a hard word. Everyone get it wrong. Musician. So which singer or musician would you like to see in person?
Well, I think my answer is Taylor Swift. A very very famous singer, and she recently, she's going on a tour, a world tour. The
She.
Eras.
What
Yeah,
about her? What do you say?
Taylor Swift. She's going on a world tour, and
Oh, she's still on her Eras tour right now.
yeah, yeah, and I would really love to, get a chance
To get a
to.
chance to see her live. But this question, they say to see someone in person. So it means you have to book an appointment with her and then see her, not just on stage, but you have to see her directly, face to face.
Okay.
So which singer or musician would you like to see in person? Gặp trực tiếp, gặp mặt luôn á.
Mm, well, my answer is still Taylor Swift, although she is really famous and busy with her world tour right now. But um, I really want to have a chance to meet her in person and to talk to her about her songs and about things in her life, I guess. I really would like to see her
Huh?
face to face, talk to her.
I see. Taylor Swift is a kind of worthy singer or musician that one would like to see in person because she works really hard, you know. Her work ethics is actually incredibly good. You know, work ethics, đạo đức nghề nghiệp của cô này thực sự nói thiệt là rất rất là nghiêm khắc, rất là yeah, she actually has a very strict work schedule and she has good work ethics. To prepare for the Eras tour, she has to prepare for it at least half a year before that, you know. She has to go to the treadmill on the gym and then keep on singing it for hours, you know.
Yeah, I
She
heard
has
that.
to keep singing while running on a treadmill for hours. And also uh she has to practice dancing a lot. So that's how she maintained her perfect body, you know, and her perfect image as well. And on top of that, I'm sure she got her PhD degree already. You know that she's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
She's Dr. Taylor Swift now. So she got her PhD degree already. Okay, and then I think she prepared for the Eras tour afterwards, I think. Okay, so let's come to another part one topic here. Let's talk about, okay, doing or watching sports. 55. A moment. Okay, so do you like sports? Or what sports do you like?
Yes. So I do like sports, but just kind of um, gentle and do not really require much effort. Much physical
Physical
movements.
effort, right?
Just like jazz or uh,
I think you enjoy swimming.
well, I mean, I do like swimming, but I don't know how to swim.
Hmm.
I have learned it, you know, uh, before, but I still don't know how.
Hmm.
But
I still don't know how. I do like water, but I don't know how.
yeah,
Actually, I almost failed my swimming classes in school because I could not swim the way they taught me. So, ugh. Anyway, so Mr. Where do you learn how to do it?
well, actually, my mom taught me how
My
to.
mother.
My
Careful.
mother.
Don't use mom, dad, kid stuff in IELTS, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so use mother, father, children, or use items or things. It's better. Because remember, in IELTS speaking, it's a formal occasion where you need to be formal. Phải trịnh trọng nha khi thi speaking á. So use formal words. Okay, so let's try again. So where do you learn how to do it?
Well, it's actually my mother who taught me how to do sports. Uh, she was aware of my physical condition when I was really young, and she always told me to start doing sports. And yeah, I listened to her, and we play sports. I mean, every 2 weeks, I guess.
I see. Now, so did you learn sports when you were a child?
Yes, I actually learned sports when I was about,
Child, about how, when? Like, at what age?
I think, 5 to 10, or I don't know.
Hmm. I think it's an excellent age to learn how to play sport, I think.
Yeah, it's about those age.
So why is sport important? And do you think students need more exercise?
Well, the reason I think sport is really essential for anyone's life because it can be it can be used as a way to strengthen your health at your health conditions, and it helps you to get a an appropriate shape, I guess, and it's also kind of entertainment for people.
Mhm.
And I also think that students need more exercise because um, other than their academic work at school, I think they need some time
You
to
need some time
entertain
to
themselves.
improve their physical health, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
To improve their physical health. I see. So, think about it, the fact that a lot of students these days, they study too much and they keep sitting, they sit for too long, for
Yes.
hours and hours studying. And that leads to back pain, that leads to obesity and a lot of problems, eye problem as well, you know? So that could be the reason why they need more exercise. Think about that as well. Now, so do you enjoy watching sports on TV?
To be honest, although I do like sport, but watching sport on TV is not what I like because I think it's pretty boring to watch people playing sport. I just like doing sport myself, not watching people do sports. Yeah.
Interesting that you said that. Okay, so have you ever been to a live sport event?
Uh, Absolutely. I have been to a football game when I was like, I don't know, about 2 years ago. It's
Okay, it was 2 years
yeah, in
ago.
the stadium in Nanyang City, my province. It's my
Huh?
city, and I don't really remember the team, but it's maybe Nanyang and Hanoi City, I guess. It was a really fun game though, and but unfortunately we didn't win. But anyway,
Hmm.
it was fun.
Sport is not just about winning or losing. Sport is about learning as well, and cooperative spirit. Cooperate with others. We learn how to cooperate with others. That is a very important lesson to learn in sport. And also we learn about how to fair play. How to fair play. Play here, it's or how to play it fair. To play it fair. Chơi công bằng. We learn how to play it fair with the others. And that is those are important lessons to learn. It is not just about winning or losing, or not just about improving health, but there are other things that come with sports. Now, so Mr. Is there a sport event you might like to watch in the future? Why not?
Well, for the time being, I don't think I would like to watch any sports event in the future because as because I don't think it really one of my interests now. But I don't I don't maybe in the future I may develop some kind of interest in those events. So yeah, it's hard to say for the time being.
It's hard to say for the time being. For the time being, exactly. Trong khoảng thời gian dài. For the time being, it's hard to say. Hmm. And do you think it's more enjoyable to watch sports alone, or with other people? Like, or if you watch sport with other people, people can discuss about the matches, discuss the players, discuss about a lot of issues, not just about sport, right? And do you think it's more enjoyable to do that alone or with people?
Mm, Personally, I think that it is much more interesting to watch sports with
Interesting.
other
It's
people.
much more interesting to watch.
Interesting
No, no, no,
to
interesting because now you're describing the act of watching sport with others, right? you have to describe the nature of that act. What's the characteristic of that act? So you use interesting, not interested, okay? Cẩn thận tính từ chủ động bị động nha. Tính từ đuôi ing nó thể hiện cái bản chất sự vật sự việc là nó mang tính thú vị. Còn tính từ đuôi ed interested nó thể hiện là cái cảm xúc của mình hoặc cái trạng thái của đối tượng, là tôi đang hứng thú chẳng hạn. Okay, so let's try again. Do you think it's more enjoyable to watch sports alone or with other people?
Well, personally, I think it's more interesting to watch
Uh-uh.
sports with
Interesting. Không đầu nha. It's
interesting.
more interesting. It's more interesting. Okay, but why do you say so? Try to expand your answer to about 3 sentences or more, please.
Because I love the idea of having people around you and have the same interests with you, and you know, if and after the game we can discuss about it and talk about it for hours, and I think that's a really fun way of bonding, I guess.
It's a fun way to bond with people.
Yeah.
I do agree. Anyway, so right, okay, so that's part 1. Let's come to a part 2 and part 3 now, Mr. So last time we did something easy. Let's try number 2, okay? Topic number 2. Describe a famous person you are interested in. This person can be famous because of anything, because what they do, because of what they say, because of their social status or something like that, They can be famous for anything. But look at question number 1. It's a favorite singer or actor. So basically they can be famous, but only for singing and acting, not anything. So the scope of this topic is much smaller than the scope of this topic, Cái phạm vi của câu 2 nó rộng lớn hơn nhiều. Người nổi tiếng có thể nổi tiếng nhiều thứ lắm, do nhiều thứ lắm, còn trên đây chỉ là diễn xuất và ca hát thôi. Alright, so let's describe a famous person you are interested in. Miêu tả một người nổi tiếng mà các bạn hứng thú. You should say who he or she is. Người đó là ai vậy? How you knew about him or her? Làm thế nào bạn biết về người ta? What he or she is like. Cái người đó nhìn như thế nào? Hoặc là như thế nào? Explain why you are interested in him or her. Giải thích tại sao anh chị lại hứng thú về người này. And you have part 3 of famous person. What kinds of famous people are there in your country? Đất nước bạn có những loại người nổi tiếng nào? So think about famous because of what they do, like what profession, and what is their profession, which field, like they work in what kind of field, like a football, if they are athletes, if they are athletes, or if they are doctors, teachers, engineers, famous professors, or something like that. Are there singers, actors? What kind of famous people are there in your country? Or if they are famous because they did something for the society, like for example, they contribute a lot to the development of the country. They contribute to eradicate the eradicate diseases, poverty, unemployment, or something, So they help the country in some way. Or if they are famous because they said something that spark a lot of public debates, you know. Những câu nói nổi tiếng làm cho quần chúng tranh luận gắt gao. Yeah, there are people who do that, you know. Actually, it's quite popular in Vietnam to have people who said something and then everyone was discussing about them, and then there are many types of people who support or they disrespect them and said bad things about them, you know. But nevertheless, there are people in our country who are famous because they said something, you know, that sparked a lot of public debates. Think about, okay, you should give some example as well. So what are the differences? The differences between famous people today and those in the past. Có những sự khác biệt nào giữa người nổi tiếng ngày nay và những người nổi tiếng trong quá khứ không? So think about the way they think, mindset. Like, as I can see, famous people are always very cocky. Chảnh lắm luôn. And of course they are choosy as well. Kén cá chọn canh. They are very choosy, hay lựa chọn. And they are cocky, chảnh lắm luôn. But that is a common thing among all the famous people, I think. But what do you think is the differences? How about the environment? The environment they grew up in, that can be the difference. Because famous people these days, they are born and raised in peace, you know. Người nổi tiếng ngày nay được sinh ra lớn lên trong hòa bình mà. But famous people in the past, they are born and raised in war time, you know. Thời chiến, in war time, they can't think differently. They have to suffer more with the people, you know. So maybe they have a different mindset. They are willing to contribute more to the development of a country. Maybe think about scandals as well. You know, scandals, bad things, rumors. Think about rumors and scandals. Think about their social contributions. Sự cống hiến xã hội của họ thì sao? What's the differences? And then next question, should celebrities contribute more to the country that they live in and why? Những người nổi tiếng, celebrities, có nên cống hiến nhiều hơn cho đất nước mà họ sống không? Tại sao? So think about the fact that they have the means to carry out many things that normal people cannot do. Like, for example, they have the money, of course. If you're famous, you should have a lot of money. And of course, you have the public, you have public support, you know, sự ủng hộ của quần chúng. You have public support because if you're famous, whatever you say, the people will take it seriously, you know. Mình có nổi tiếng thì mình nói cái gì quần chúng người ta cũng nghe đó. If you're famous, and whatever you say, the public will take it seriously, and they will listen to your words of advice, you know. So think about the fact that famous people they are at a position, they're at a position to make social changes. Họ ở cái vị thế để làm những sự thay đổi xã hội. They're at a position to make social changes much easier than someone who is a normal citizen, you know, một công dân bình thường. Think about the fact that they have the money. Of course, you can support poor people. You can support the charity, you know. You can build orphanage. Xây dựng trại trẻ mồ côi, build orphanages, and you can help support the people in rural areas, of course. Think about what I said. But this question asks you, should they contribute more or not? So you should focus on whether they should do it or not. They should do it more or not, you know? Next question. Do you think famous people are necessarily good in their field? Nhất thiết là phải giỏi. Các bạn nghĩ người nổi tiếng có nhất thiết là phải giỏi trong cái nghề của họ không, trong cái ngành của họ không? Like, some people, they are just in their fields. For example, they don't sing very well, but people know them because of other reasons. Maybe they know them because of their fashion choice, for example, like what they wear, or or public speaking, you know. But sometimes they don't sing very well, but because of other talents, that's how the public know about them. So think about that and give examples about that. However, if you are a superstar in acting, if you are a superstar actor, you should be able to act very well, of course. So basically, if you're famous, uh, there is something to be said about being famous. Có cái gì đó để nói về chuyện nổi tiếng chứ, nó cũng đảm bảo cho cái tài năng đó, đảm bảo về cái khả năng, giống như kiểu chứng nhận đó. So there's something to be said about being famous. It's like a certificate to prove that you have a good skill in something. There's something to be said about being famous. So if you are famous, you should already be good in something, to become famous. Think about what I just said. Now, do you think the media is putting too much attention on famous people? The media, basically, it includes everything from internet post, advertisements, things on the radio, things on the newspapers and TV. Everything like that is called the media. Tất cả mấy đó đều là truyền thông hết á. Bạn có nghĩ truyền thông đang đặt quá nhiều sự chú tâm đến người nổi tiếng không? It means that if they're putting too much attention on famous people, they neglect other important stories, such as, like, for example, issues that affect the country, like, for example, poverty, unemployment, tax problems, vấn đề về thuế má, vấn đề thất nghiệp, vấn đề nghèo đói. Nếu mà nó đặt quá nhiều sự chú ý lên người nổi tiếng thì nó sẽ bỏ qua những cái vấn đề khác quan trọng không kém. And think about the impact on the young. Think about the impact on the young people. These days, young people do not care about how their country is doing because of the same reason, because the media is putting too much attention on famous people. So whenever you go online, people search for celebrity stories. Who's gay? Who just broke up? Who just had a fight with another celebrity? Something like that. But they do not care about national problems, like, for example, inflation, lạm phát, and food price increase. Sự gia tăng về giá lương thực, food price increase. They don't care about that. Which is very sad. Think about the social impact on the young and the people as a whole. Mình sẽ nghĩ về cái tác động xã hội lên cho người trẻ và xã hội nói chung nữa nha, của cái chuyện này. And do you know why the media has to do that, Miss Thư? Do you know why the media has to put too much attention on famous people?
I think it's because it can, attract more attention, I guess.
And of course those media can attract viewers and they can sell more, of their products. Right, I see. Of course, the whole reason is to be able to sell more products, If the media does not attract people that much with dramas, with dramas about famous people, they would not be able to sell their products, Be careful with that. Now, do you think that famous people deserve to have their privacy protected? Bạn có nghĩ rằng người nổi tiếng xứng đáng được bảo vệ cái sự riêng tư của họ không? Think about what problems can arise when you're famous, okay? Think about paparazzi. Thợ săn ảnh. Paparazzi will always try to spy on you, to spy on someone. They will always try to take pictures of you whenever you are vulnerable, Khi mà mình dễ bị hại, dễ bị ảnh hưởng, chụp hình mình. Well, it's not a fun thing. You know what happened to famous people when they are around, They have no privacy because everything they do, they will be watched, No privacy at all. And imagine leaked videos as well. Những video bị phát tán trên mạng, leaked videos. Think about those things. Do they deserve to have their privacy protected after everything they have done to the society, Sau nhiều thứ mà họ đã làm xã hội, họ có xứng đáng được bảo vệ cái sự riêng tư không? Think about that. And think about how you can help them with that. Should people be paying attention to their private life, Think about that one. Okay, so you have some time to think now. All right, let's do it now. Miss Thư, please. Describe a famous person you are interested in.
Well, a famous person who I am really interested in is
Interested
definitely
in.
interested in is
Interested in.
Taylor Swift. I think she is a worldwide famous singer, and she's American. Uh, and a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I was scrolling on TikTok, and I saw a performance of her, of the song "Love Story," and I immediately hooked on her singing and also her performance. And I think I have been a fan since. And I really like the way that she sings and she expresses her feelings and emotions through the song, and it conveys a large number of messages to the audiences. And to my admiration, she has always been kind and dedicated to her work, and to give people high quality music products. And the
Products.
reason why I'm interested in her is that she is she contributes much to her career. As preparing for the Eras tour, she had spent 6 months in advance to prepare her singing and her performance to be the most perfect for the audiences. And I think that's something that I've really admired about. And I heard that she is also really kind-hearted. So yeah, that's why I am
Interested in. That's what I'm interested in.
interested in Taylor Swift.
I see. All right, good. Good enough for part two. Okay, so what kinds of famous people are there in your country?
Well, there are many kinds of famous people in my country. They can be athletes, or they can be famous on TikTok, KOLs, or influencer, or sometimes singers and actors, and uh, and they can be famous for you know a number of reasons. It can be about their good singing, acting, or sometimes it even about their bad behaviors that which made them famous. So yeah, that's the kind of famous people in my country.
I see. So think about you should explore more fields that they're famous about. But most of the time it's just singing and acting or people being like, joining some game shows and become famous. Most people in Vietnam are like that, joining game shows and programs, and then they immediately become famous overnight. To become famous overnight. Qua một đêm chỉ nổi tiếng. So they enjoy their new social status. Right. So what are the differences between famous people today and those in the past, Miss Anh Thư?
Well, there are numerous differences between famous people nowadays and those in the past. I can there are about two there are about two reasons, two differences. It's about the environment that they grew up in and about their mindset, uh, and about their social contribution. People in the past, they were born and raised in war times, and I think they might suffer, and I think they might suffer from a whole new, a whole different environment from nowadays, as they have to be like not only care about themselves, but also about the and about their life or death situation. But nowadays, people are living in peace, so I think they have more time to historians and scholars. They have more time to look after themselves and not have to worry about those other things. And about their social contribution. Scholars have noted. Contribution. Uh,
Okay. Okay, is there anything else? Like social contribution, of course, when in during wartime, they can contribute by composing anti-war songs, bài ca phản chiến, and to boost the morale, of soldiers, để mà cải thiện cái tinh thần của các binh sĩ, các lính. To boost the morale of soldiers, they can, of course, can compose songs. That's also the social contribution, but during peacetime, it's different. Think about that. Okay, what else can you say about that then?
mm,
Think about what famous people did to give to the poor people and the less fortunate. The less fortunate. Những người kém may mắn. Can you give examples? Do you know like what some of your famous people did? Like for example, do you know about you know about Taylor Swift, and you know about her charity work.
I do know little.
Hmm. Little is known because I think they are rich, but they don't want to show off what they did. That's the reason why people don't know much about those famous people, I think. Some famous people today, they do charity because they want to get attention, and that is a bad thing. That is not a good thing. Làm từ thiện để muốn có được sự quan tâm chú ý của quần chúng. That is not a good thing. Businesses, they do charity because of the same reasons too. They want to, it's like a kind of advertisement, advertising their products. So, okay, so should celebrities contribute more to the country that they live in, and why? What do you think?
Absolutely, I think it's uh, celebrities should contribute more to the country that they live in due to two reasons as
Mhm,
public support and their position, their social status. Yeah. Uh, First, they have means to carry out many things that ordinary people cannot. Like
mhm.
they have the money and have the public support to do to help other people to contribute to the country, and moreover, they have the position to make social changes. As they are famous, many people will listen to their words of advice, and when do
Mhm.
charity, they can raise funds, and many people will support them. As being famous means it does means that you are
Yes.
reliable, and people would trust you and give money for you to help uh, other less fortunate people in the country.
For the less unfortunate people, I say. So your idea is a yes, yes, they should contribute more. Compared to a normal citizens, their contribution can be limited because of their, let's say, budget. That's the first thing, their salary. And their time constraint. Of course, a normal citizen have more time than a celebrity because celebrity are often much more busier than normal people. But celebrity have much more money, that's for sure. And that money can be used to improve the lives of the less fortunate, to to help them learn new trades, help them learn new skills to survive better, or just to simply give them meals to sate their hunger, to sate their hunger, thỏa mãn cơn đói, to sate their hunger. Để mà làm dịu đi cơn đói. All right, think about this one. Do you think famous people are necessarily good in their fields?
Well, I think now it's not really necessary
Necessary, necessary.
necessary for famous people to be good in their fields. Because I have seen many cases where famous singers and they cannot really sing well. But they can remain their fame through scandals or their speech, and
Mhm.
rise they rise through those, and not really through their singing skills. Um,
Hmm. But somehow their singing skill should be at least average. If it's too bad, they won't be famous.
yeah,
Think about Chipu. You know Chipu, right?
I know.
Her singing is absolutely terrible. I mean, there are a lot of people say that, but she is really hardworking and she has a disability. Cô bị tật mà. So she has a very good work ethics. Cái đạo đức nghề nghiệp của cô nói chung là cô rất nghiêm khắc, nghiêm túc. And then people know that and then they enjoy working with her, I think. And I think eventually she improves a lot. But what I'm trying to say to you right now is if they are famous, at least they should be average, at least, They should be okay good, not like too good, but okay good. Right. Okay, so do you think the media is putting too much attention on famous people?
Well, I think it is true that the media is putting too much attention on
Hmm.
famous people. Um, and as uh,
Yes.
famous people can, attract more attention from uh, viewers, audiences, and due to that, many types of the media, like TV or social media or newspapers, they focus more on famous people in order to gain advantage for themselves. And
Not a good thing. That
yeah,
is uh, that is dishonest, dishonesty. Of
and
course, a lot of them, of course, in the show business, there are tricks, there are gimmicks that people follow. There are tricks that people follow to survive better. And a lot of the time, they're not necessarily good in their field, but they are famous because of their dealings. It's called under the table dealing. You know what under the table means, right?
yeah,
Under the table dealings, like hidden dealings with other people. You might not heard, but sometimes there are scandals of famous singers and actors with the directors,
yeah.
đạo diễn và diễn viên, scandal với họ. Of course, a lot of problems like that. Now, do you think the media is putting too much attention on famous people these days? What do you think?
Well, definitely, I think these days uh, it is true that the media is putting too much attention on famous people. Well, as a matter of fact, stories about famous people can attract much, much more attention from people than other problems, issues
Mhm.
of the country, such as tax or inflation or political
Political issues?
issues. Yeah, and uh, I think people nowadays also they have the need that they want to know about famous people because they it's either that they like them or they dislike those famous people, and either way they really want to know more about them. So um, the media is
Oh.
trying to gain advantage from this trend of their of its viewers, and therefore uh, they try to post more and more stories about famous people, and uh, along with that, they neglect other important stories issues issues of issues of the daily life, and I think that's not really a good thing.
Of course, it's not a good thing. It's a bit of corruption.
Yeah.
It's like corruption. Of course, never a good thing. Now, so it's how can I say? It's also a way the government try to drive the people into thinking differently about different issues, định hướng dư luận. It's like, for example, if there's a big event, if there's a very sensitive issue that arises, the government can always try to tell the media to put a story, like a stupid story, like um, like a breakup of a celebrity with another celebrity, for example, to get people's attention away from the sensitive issue, you know. Có vấn đề nhạy cảm nào đó xảy ra, vấn đề chính trị chẳng hạn, thì chính quyền hoàn toàn có thể là kêu truyền thông là đăng một câu chuyện nhảm nhí vớ vẩn khủng khiếp nào đó về một cái người celeb này đó để mà cho dân chúng bị lái cái dư luận ra, đừng có chú ý quá nhiều vấn đề nhạy cảm nữa. You know, that's something that we often see happening. You need to be aware of that, you know. So that's why not everything on the media is trustworthy, you know. Không có gì cũng phải đáng tin đâu nha. Not everything you see on the media is trustworthy. No. Now, so Mr. Do you think that famous people deserve to have their privacy protected?
Yes, of course. I think everyone, and especially famous people, deserve to have their privacy protected due to their contribution to the society, the community, and the country. Um, they have contributed, they have sacrificed maybe their money or maybe their health in order to contribute to the society, as to satisfy people's need about, I don't know, entertainment or about singing stuff, I think. And there are many cases where famous people are spied on, and they get very vulnerable, and sometimes their private videos or private issues get leaked, and
Mhm,
it causes so many problems
mhm,
to the famous people, and I think they have a really hard time overcoming those issues. And I think, and I have seen many people have mental issues like depression
mhm. And it
due
is
to
not easy, especially if
mental
people
state.
suddenly become famous overnight, you know.
Yeah.
They have their newfound fame. So basically their newfound fame can be overwhelming at times, you know. Cái sự nổi tiếng vừa tìm thấy đó nó có thể là nó dội lắm luôn, mình cảm thấy mình không quen. Ở một số lúc, they can be overwhelming at times, you know. And think about that. You're not used to having a lot of people looking for you, asking for information, you know. That is overwhelming. Tự nhiên bụp một cái, một đống người đi xin chữ ký, đi xin thông tin của em. Nó làm cho em không có privacy. There's no privacy at all. That is overwhelming and very stressful, you know. That can lead to, of course, depression or mental issues, you know. Anyway, so what else do you say, Miss Two?
No, I think that's it.
I see. Now we can move on to the next topic. This is number 2. Okay, let me choose something else for you. Say, let's do 25. Describe a plan in your life, but not related to work or study. Miêu tả một cái kế hoạch cuộc đời của các bạn mà nó không liên quan gì đến chuyện học hay chuyện đi làm hết đó. So it can be a plan related to, let's say, um, let me see here. It can be a plan related to, say, self-improvement, cải thiện bản thân. Self-improvement, it can be a plan related to travel. It can be a plan related to, how can I say, hobbies, you know, like to do something you always wanted to do, about hobbies, or it can be a plan just to get married or to be famous. Anything, you know, anything not related to work or study is okay. Cái gì mà miễn sao nó không liên quan đến công việc với lại chuyện học hành là được. You should say what it is, why you have it, tại sao bạn lại có cái plan đó, what you need to do, bạn cần làm gì, and explain how you feel, how would you feel if it is successful. Nếu mà cái plan đó nó thành công thì bạn sẽ cảm thấy thế nào về cái kế hoạch đó. And then you have part 3 of plans. What sorts of plans do young people often have to make? Người trẻ thường phải có những cái loại kế hoạch như thế nào? Think about plans of work, plans of study, plans to save up to buy apartments or houses, plan to get married or plan to travel, plan to do sports, any kind of plan, what young people often have to make. Think about life plan, kế hoạch cuộc đời, life plan, what do they want to do with their whole life, something like that. Okay, and you should also explain something about them. Try to give examples. Remember, part 3 is not about yourself, okay? So try to give examples in general or example you often see on the news. Okay. Should parents make plans for their children? Các bậc cha mẹ có nên lên kế hoạch giùm cho con của họ không? So think about what would happen if they do that. Would the child be independent or be very dependent on their parents? And sometimes children's plan can lead to good results, but a lot of the time it can lead to disasters or a waste of effort, and time. Because not all plans goes well, not all plans go well. Not all plans go well. Remember that. Đâu phải cứ lên kế hoạch là nó sẽ thành hiện thực được đâu. They will, a lot of the time it doesn't go well and it's terrible. So think about the fact that some plans that just doesn't make sense, and it can be a waste of effort and a waste of time, a waste of money. So sometimes parents should make plans for their children, but I do believe that they should not do that, Now, when should children start to make plans for themselves? Trẻ nhỏ nên lúc nào thì trẻ nhỏ nên bắt đầu tự lên kế hoạch cho bản thân chúng? Think about plans of study, think about plans of self-improvement, plans when they were very young, plans to study something, plan to do some sport, something like that. When? Think about that question. When and why do you think at that age they should do that, Does it help them in any way? Có giúp chúng cải thiện gì không nếu mà chúng lên plan từ sớm? And then next question, what plans do countries need to make? This is hard, okay? Câu này khó nè. Những đất nước cần phải có những kế hoạch gì? Think about plans for the development of the country. Kế hoạch phát triển đất nước. Think about all the fields that the country need to work on. Nghĩ về tất cả những mảng mà đất nước cần có để mà quản lý. Think about education. Think about defense, quốc phòng. Think about healthcare, chăm sóc y tế. Think about the arts, nghệ thuật. Think about a country need to think about the aging population, as you know. Dân số đang ngày càng tăng của nó nữa. Think about the aging populations and what problems it can cause. Think about, like for example, Vietnam. Right now, about 20 to 30 years later, Vietnam will have a lot of old people, and that is a huge problem because old people needs care, They need to be taken care of by either machines or people, but I think machines will do. Like, we need to plan ahead, otherwise there will be a lot of big problems. You could also say, what would happen if countries do not make plans? Điều gì diễn ra nếu như đất nước không có lên kế hoạch? Sống ngày nào ra ngày đó thôi. Sống ngày nào biết ngày đó thôi. Well, that will be a huge problem. If a country does not plan for its defense, they will be invaded easily by other forces, by other countries, dễ dàng bị xâm lược. If a country doesn't plan its healthcare carefully, think about what happened during COVID-19 pandemic, right? The country will not be able to deal with such a pandemic. Đương đầu không nổi luôn với dịch bệnh luôn đó, nếu mà không plan healthcare. And a lot of people will die. If the country doesn't plan for its education, its workforce in the future will be affected heavily. They might not be able to find jobs, and that will lead to a lot of social decline. That will lead to a social decline. Social decline. What is social decline? Sự suy thoái xã hội. Very bad thing. Okay, so think about, of course, a country needs to plan ahead what it will do in the near future as well with the population it has to deal with the recent problems and future problems. Like, for example, plans for transportation. You know, the metro system and public transportation. So you can always say what would happen if they do not plan. Mình luôn luôn có thể là lật ngược vấn đề lại là gì sẽ diễn ra nếu họ không làm như thế. Okay. All right, you have some time to think about this topic now. Plans in your life. Remember, this is number 25. Do you have the files, right? Of course you have the files.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Thư, please describe a plan in your life not related to work or study, please.
Actually, I have planned to drop some weight and do sports and get in shape.
Mhm.
I have had this plan in my mind for about last year, but I had actually get down to planning it is about a few months ago. During this time, I have to have a workout schedule, and I have to make sure that I get involved in daily exercise and do some sports like
Mhm.
badminton or swimming. And I also have to stick to a good diet plan, to get in good shape without causing any harm to my health. Uh,
I would
and
feel successful.
yeah, if it is successful, I think I would really, really happy. I mean, uh, when I lose some weight and get in good shape, I think I will be more confident and will be able to wear those beautiful dress or whatever I want without feeling a bit overweight, or it did make me feel a little insecure, but if I really succeed in my plan, it would be really amazing for me.
So good enough, I guess. But you need to be a bit faster, I think, for part two. Anyway, part three of plans. So what sorts of plans do young people often have to make, Miss Thư?
Well, there are many kind of plans that nowadays young people have to make. It can be about saving up money to buy houses, apartments, or it's about improvement, or getting married, or traveling, and uh, taking up some hobbies. It is diverse through all walks of life, and young people, they have nowadays they are free to do what they want. So I think the plans that they have will be really diverse, and maybe it will help them to flourish in their later life.
Flourish in a later life. So think about the fact that if young people do not make plans, they just live life day by day, what would happen, Miss Thư? Think about that. Mình có thể lật ngược vấn đề lại. You can turn around the situation and try to expand your answer that way. If they do not make plans and they just live life day by day, what would happen? Think about the people who struggle every day for their next meals. Those are often the people who do not make plans, you know. They don't plan ahead easily. They don't plan ahead like what to do next. They just live their life like, you know, every day like that, no plan at all, no life purpose. What would happen to them, Mr.? What do you think?
I think maybe they do not really have. I think they will not get the life they want. I mean, to live like that, it's pretty difficult. I mean, they only care about their daily life problems, like about the meals or about their clothes, without any goal to improve themselves or entertain themselves. And I think that's a really not really desirable life.
No, it's not. It's not a desirable life because basically slowly their life they will lead to their own decline, you know. So suy thoái chính bản thân, it will lead to their own decline, and the older they become, the more problems can pop up, you know. A lot of people in Vietnam, a lot of people in around the world is living such a life without any plan, without any idea, any life purpose, you know. So slowly, of course, they may think that they are living an okay life, yeah, but actually, slowly it gets worse. All right, so next question is, should parents make plans for their children, Mr.?
Well, from my perspective, I think parents shouldn't make plans for their children, but they need to give their children advice, guidance in order to make the best plans for themselves. Um, in fact, children have to learn how to be independent without their parents. And if they rely on their parents to make plans, maybe they will not know the struggle to set a goal to achieve it. But they just um, depend on their parents to do that for them. So I think when they are when they grow up and without their parents, they will struggle a lot in order to strive in life to get what they want, because their parents have played an indisposable role in their life. Uh, but I think parents should give advice for their children about what's best for them or what they should do, but not make the whole plan for them. That will be, I think, is a very not clever parental guidance for their children.
It's not about clever parental guidance. Very good parental guidance. It's not a clever one. Basically, you plan for the life of someone ever since they were very young, you know. If they do not have the discipline, không có kỷ luật, if they don't have planning skills, if they do not make plans, their life will be a miserable one. Cuộc sống nó đáng chán và nó đáng thương hại lắm luôn á. If they don't plan ahead when they were younger. So now But the question say, should parents make plan for their children? It means that they do not let the child make plan for themselves, but they have to listen to their parents. Be careful, Miss Thư. Em phải cẩn thận câu này nha. Nó hỏi là cha mẹ có nên cho kế hoạch giùm cho con họ không? So what do you think?
I think they shouldn't, because that would cause the child to rely too much on the parents, and they I think if they grow up and they're thrown into a situation where their parents are not there, I think they will find it really hard to overcome the difficulties, and probably they will fail in their daily life problems, and it can probably destroy their life, I guess.
Will probably destroy their life. Okay, so when should children start to make plans for themselves then?
In my opinion, I think children should be allowed to make plans for themselves in all stages of their life. I mean, when they are toddler, babies, they parents should allow them to decide about their. No, I think when they are about a kid, they should be
When they
allowed
were
to choose.
children,
Yeah,
careful. When they were children,
you know, I think I think they should be allowed to make plans for themselves in several aspects of life. I think it can be about their clothes or their hobbies or those stuff. They should decide what they want, not to rely too much on their parents.
Don't use the word stuff in IELTS. Careful. Tiêu điểm. Some you get a minus because of these words. Okay, let's try again. So why should they decide for themselves? Tiếp, nhưng mà đừng dùng chữ stop là được.
Because those during this stage of life, they are developing their character, their style, their mindset, and they should be able to decide what they want. But of course, it has to there has to be some parental guidance on what they decide, and they should be able to know that they are free to do what they want, but also not to mess around, not to make
Mess
bad
around.
decisions.
Mess around is actually informal way to say, I think. Not to waste their time doing nothing,
Yeah,
you mean,
yeah,
and living a life that is a mediocre life, you mean,
yeah,
to live a mediocre life, sống một cuộc đời mà nó tầm thường á. To live a mediocre life is actually a bad one. Now, so what plans do countries need to make? This is hard. Careful.
there are uh, there are several plans that I think that countries need to make. They are about education, defense, healthcare, and the population. Uh, about education, countries should focus more on improve their system, the and how to how to support their students the most, and how to guide them have to achieve what they want in their later life. And it also helps, it not only helps the students to have to lead a good life, but also help the country to develop more and become wealthy, I guess.
Well, being wealthy is actually important. It's actually an important endeavor, một sự theo đuổi rất là quan trọng for every country. But remember that there are other things that a country should focus on. First of all, is its safety, so that's why they need to think about defense. Lo về chuyện an toàn, an nguy của đất nước thì đương nhiên phải nghĩ chuyện phòng thủ, quốc phòng. And think about how the country care for its people. You need to think about healthcare. You need to think about public transport. You need to think about education as well. And countries need to plan ahead, like many years ahead, like at least decades ahead. Ít nhất phải là nhiều thập kỷ, phải lên kế hoạch nhiều thập kỷ sau đó luôn nha. Like you need to think about the aging population and also how to deal with the aging population successfully, how to help them enjoy a better life standard. Giúp họ có được một cái tiêu chuẩn sống tốt hơn nha. So that's my idea. Okay, it shouldn't be something that is too difficult, These are just general things. Đây là những thứ mình rất chung chung thôi mà. All right, so this is 25, right? 14,
Yeah.
15, 16. Okay, so 25 is done. Let's just move on to something a bit more recent. Okay, let's try 78. Describe an item on which you spent more than expected. Miêu tả một cái vật dụng mà bạn đã bỏ tiền nhiều hơn là mong đợi. You should say what it is. Món đồ gì vậy? How much you spent on it? Bạn đã dành bao nhiêu tiền cho nó? Why you bought it? Tại sao bạn lại mua món đồ đó? And explain why you think you spent more than expected. Giải thích tại sao bạn nghĩ bạn đã bỏ tiền nhiều hơn là mong muốn. Oh, my cat is looking at the sky and frightened now. Because it's raining down there. And then the thunder. Is it thundering and raining hard at your place now, Mr.?
No, it's actually really dry. It's,
Dry? Which district are you living in?
I'm living in the north.
Sorry?
I'm living in the north. So
Oh, to the north of Vietnam, I see. Hanoi?
no, it's Nam Định City.
Nam Định, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
pretty
see. I
close.
do have a lot of students from the north, though. I didn't notice, sorry. I thought you were in Saigon.
Not really.
I see. Now, so you have part 3 about spending. So do you often buy more than you expected? So this one actually asks, it sounds like a question of part 1, right? But you can actually make it a part 3 question by saying like, do people do people in general, your generation, do people often buy more than expected? Like if they go to supermarket, do they often buy more than expected? If they are doing a shopping trip with their friends, do they often, how can I say, purchase more than they ever need? Something like that. And what do they often buy? You can expand the story that way. Now, what do you think young people spend most of their money on, and how about older people? Bạn nghĩ người trẻ dành phần đông cái tiền của họ để mua cái gì? Và người già thì sao? So, I think you know the answer. Oh wow, look at the thunder. My cat are terrorized. I mean, they are terrified because of the thunder right now, I think.
My cat is
Moment,
sick.
I should close the curtain, I guess. Now look at that, kitty. Nothing fun, no need to be terrified. Okay. I have 3 beautiful cats and they're all scared now. Oh. Anyway, I think you know the answer for this one. Now, why do you think it's important to save money? Tại sao tiết kiệm tiền lại là điều quan trọng? Why? I think you also know the reason for this one. To save for the bad days, to save up for the bad days. It's a saying. Tiết kiệm cho những lúc tối trời. Những lúc mà nhá nhem tối trời, ngày xấu. To save up for the bad days, because accident can strike anytime. For example, you might never know when you will end up in hospital and you need a huge amount of money for treatment, for example. Or if your loved ones are in trouble, you might need money to save them, for example. Something like that. And then do people usually buy things they don't need? Con người ta có thường mua những thứ họ không cần không? Of course, this one it's a yes. But you need to explain why. And of course, these kind of questions, you can say it depends on their personalities, Còn tùy người này người kia chứ đâu phải người nào cũng vậy đâu. Well, you can split it into two cases. Tách là hai trường hợp. Có người mua nhiều hơn họ cần, có người thì không. Some people they buy more than they need always, but sometimes they don't. You can split that and then try to solve this. Okay, you have some time now. Okay, Ms. Thư, please describe an item on which you spent more than expected.
Well, it's an item that I spent more than I expected was a dress. So I have had an obsession with dresses for a long time, and one time I went shopping with one of my friends, and I saw a dress. I think, and it's really beautiful, and I was actually at that time I was on a shoestring budget, and I could only afford about 400,000 Vietnamese dong, and but because I really liked it, so I but the dress is about 600,000 Vietnamese dong, and I had to so I had to ask for my friends for some money, and I buy the dress.
Mhm.
Uh,
And how you think, okay, so why you think you spend more than expected? And you can explain how you did it.
Actually, when I went home, the dress is not really as beautiful as I saw it before. I mean, um, it's it's just not my type, and there
Okay.
are some dirts on the dress, and it really
There
disappointed me.
were some dirt on the dress and
Yeah, it really disappointed me for spending that much money and receive a dress that is not really my type, and it also not really clean. So
okay.
it's it's just upset me a lot at that time.
Okay, good. Right. So do you often buy more than you expected?
Well, to be honest, that doesn't really happen to me because I always keep track of my spendings. So
You always contract what?
I always keep track of my spendings.
Ah, right. Perfect.
Yeah, I often I wouldn't buy anything without calculate or calculate it whether it's worthy or not. But of course, there are still some cases where you know, I think I lose my mind and I just buy it. I don't know why, but mostly I think I don't buy more than I expected.
Okay. So what do you think young people spend most of their money on?
Hmm.
And how about older people?
I think young people spend most of their money maybe on food or clothes. Mm, many people. I can see many young people now. They meet up at a cafe or a restaurant to um, have a chat or to even study or work because they feel like I think maybe it has become a trend or it's just people's uh, interest. But either way, I think they spend many money on those,
They spend
much money on that, and also clothes. Yeah, I fashion has become pretty popular among young people, and of course, and they will spend uh, a fortune to
will
buy
spend a
dress.
fortune on them.
Yes,
I know for a fact that a lot of people they collect shoes, like very expensive shoes. And they also collect designer items, when they were still a student, up to the point that they are willing to eat very dirt cheap, unhealthy food just to satisfy their hobby.
yeah,
Well, it is not a healthy way of living or not a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so a lot of people, like for example, their salary is only about, say, 10 million Vietnam dong per month because they're an office worker, a normal one. But they're willing to take loans so they can buy the latest iPhone, for example, which is extremely expensive because they think that it will improve their social status. Nó làm gia tăng cái địa vị xã hội của họ. Well, they think that it improved their social status. So how about the older people? What do you know? What do they spend most of their money on? What do you think?
I think older people will spend money on maybe food, or I think they will give their money to their offerings, offspring.
Hmm?
But yeah,
You mean, okay, most of the money that older people spend, it's on buying houses, buying new apartments.
okay,
Or if they are poor, they would spend money on food, as what you said. But most of the older people, they have been living for so many years, they should be able to save up a huge amount of money. Should be.
yeah,
So they often spend their money on their children, like a huge investment of their life,
yes,
like sending their children to other country to study, something like that. Okay, that is the way to say, but of course it depends on who you're talking about. Mấy cái câu này thường là nó sẽ chia ra nhiều trường hợp nha. These kind of question you can split into different cases. Like uh, people are different. Let's say if you are old and you are not rich yet, you will probably still struggle for your next meal. But if you are old enough and you have houses or apartments, then probably you would spend that money on your children, or you would try to contribute to the society. Or some people, they just don't contribute at all. They just keep buying new houses and apartments. Now, next question. Do you think it's important to save money and why?
in my opinion, I think it is essential to save money. Mm, because when people save money, uh, they can do. Uh, Let me answer again. Mm,
Uh-huh.
in my opinion, I think it is essential to save money, and I think this habit could be really helpful for the future because people will have plans throughout their life, their goals, their achievement.
Mm-hmm.
So money is an indispensable part, and it is obviously important to put aside some of your earnings or allowances to ensure that you can make those plans, those goals happen. Because um, and for those who do not plan to save money, um, I think they will not have a they will not be able to achieve what they want,
Mhm.
and they just live day
I think
by
it's
day.
important to save money because basically think about the safety. Money gives you the financial stability, the safety, the feeling of safety. And that is important because why? Life is unexpected. You cannot know. You do not know what will come in your life on the next day. And having money that is saved up can help you survive way better than the others.
Yeah.
And that gives you a sense of safety important, very important. Cái cảm giác an toàn quan trọng lắm nha. Well, you never know how important money is unless you are poor and you are struggling a lot. Then you know how important money is. Okay, so do people usually buy things they don't need? What do you think?
Mm, I think there are two cases. There are some people who are really disciplined and they will not mm, let themselves buy things that probably are not necessary for the life.
Necessary, những âm đầu á, necessary. Are probably not necessary for them.
But also there are people who, act on impulse. They just buy what they want at that moment, and then in the next second, they will feel regret. They will regret what they did. So, uh, but
They can uh, they can make impulsive purchase.
yeah,
They can make impulsive purchase, and that is really bad.
yes, they can end up spending too much money and
And end up in debts. End up in debts that would take years to
pay off.
to finish, to basically pay off the debts. It's never a fun thing to end up in debts.
Yeah, I have seen some cases.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else?
Hmm.
All right. So if you have nothing else, then we can move on to a part two topic, and we can end it up. We can end today, I think. These are the newer ones, okay? The newer ones. You can see. Actually, these things are very late, very new topics. So let's try 111. Describe a vehicle you would like to buy. Miêu tả một cái phương tiện đi lại, một cái phương tiện nào đó bạn muốn mua. Okay, a vehicle you would like to buy. Of course, you should say what it is, how you're going to use it, how you're going to use it, and how do you feel if you buy it? What will you use it for? Something like that. Okay, you have some time to think now. Okay, please, Mr. Describe a vehicle you would like to buy.
Well, the vehicle that I would like to buy is a Ferrari. Uh,
What?
Ferrari.
A Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a very famous, renowned brand for luxury,
Of course.
and I have always admired this brand for its quality. Actually, I never had any opportunity to experience driving one Ferrari, but I am particularly drawn to this brand because of its extra, because of its design and its safety.
Mm-hmm.
I I hear many people say that the inside.
I heard many people
Heard,
said that.
I heard
Mm-hmm.
many people say that the inside furniture uh, is really comfortable and yeah
Comfortable,
they
luxurious, right? Luxurious.
and the Ferrari cars are equipped with advanced technology and with many safety features that I feel really attractive. I, that I feel really attractive. I'm really
You
attracted to.
feel that you think is attractive, right?
Yeah.
And you feel you are attracted to it. Cẩn thận dùng tính từ cho đúng. You feel you are attracted to it because they are attractive. Mhm. Bạn cảm thấy bị hấp dẫn với nó. Bạn cảm thấy bị hứng thú với nó. Tại vì nó mang tính là attractive. Okay. Anything else?
Well, the reason that I want to buy the Ferrari car is that uh, I am going to university soon, and I really want to visit home every day without having to go on a bus with full of people. So, and moreover, I really love the durability of this brand. I uh, it is famous for its safety, and I do not have to worry much about about faults of the cars or repairs. So I, I think once I buy it, I can use it
Once
for
I bought
many
it, so
years.
once I bought it, I will. Mhm. But remember that you have to spend a lot on a car. Remember, a car, there are a lot of hidden costs, you know. Có rất nhiều cái khoản chi phí nó ẩn nha, phải không đâu. You have to think about that. Don't overspend, you know.
Okay.
Like for example, when once I bought this new apartment, I had to spend much more for renovations and there are just new problem popping up, you know. So there are hidden costs. You have to think about that as well. You know?
Yeah.
Now, tell me. Okay, I think this is the end of the lesson already. Okay, we can end it here.